eliminated from the postseason, falling in a sweep to the Thunder. And of course, questions raised about what is next for one LeBron James, a pending free agent. For more, we hear from his teammates, starting with Bronny James.
Do you have any sense of where his head is at going forward?
I have no clue. I'm not gonna lie to you. He looks like he can play another however many years, but he's been in the league since or longer than he's been out of the league. So it's insane. I think he should think about it and whatever he feels happy with him do that.
It's been super fun. Hope to continue to do that. He's taught me a lot. I owe him a lot for my career. Like I said, he's given me confidence every single day. I mean, after I missed a three to tie the game, he's walking by and he was like, hell of a shot, keep your head up. So just speaks to the character that he has, and whatever he does on the court, y'all seen it. I don't have to talk about it.
Just the longevity of what he's been able to do is incredible, and the greatest play of the game. It's something special, and like I said, I don't take it for granted. Being a part of that, and I wish we could have done more. I could have done more for him, but we came up short. But like I said, I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
He is a guy that, similar to what I said about the team collectively, it's like if you make a mistake on him, he's going to make you pay for it, and it actually helps you improve. Like you're a better team. He's like developing your team because any crack, he's going to find it. And he's not the only player. We've played against the great players in a playoff series do that to you. They sharpen your blade. But the fact that he can do it at this stage of his career, even just the first 5 minutes of game one, was a great model for how you start a series. And so I just have the deepest respect for him. Obviously, his career speaks for itself. But being up close and competing against him was a privilege, and like I said, deep respect for him and the rest of the team.
We're joined now by ESPN NBA reporter Dave McMenamin. Dave, a lot of questions about what's next for LeBron James, but not a lot of answers just yet from him or his teammates. You caught up with LeBron, though, after the game. What did you gather on what could have been his last game with the Lakers?
Yeah, Maddie, he definitely distanced himself from retirement talk. And in some sense, he also distanced himself from Laker talk. He answered a question during the press conference looking back at his Laker tenure, 8 seasons here, the longest stretch he's played with any team in his 23-year career, and talked about the pride he had winning the championship. But, this decision, in some sense, will be with the Lakers removed from the context here. He first has to gather and spend some time with his family and just decide for LeBron, the father, and the husband if it's the right decision for him to return and play NBA basketball. Then the question's going to be about whether the Lakers is the right fit. And he did point out that stretch in March, even though the team went 16-2, it was the first time in his career he's ever been asked to play a tertiary offensive role, and that was new for him. And then he also got kind of excited and bubbled up when he talked about his shifting back to being the primary role and making plays in the playoffs and winning a series against the Houston Rockets. We're going to see if the Lakers are going to be interested in him returning in any type of role, what type of salary figure that will be, and where he'll fit in with the rest of the roster, because there's a handful of other guys who will also be free agents. And beyond Luka Doncic, there's a whole ton of question marks about this roster next year.
I'm going to go ahead and venture to say that we might have 1 or 2 more conversations about this topic in the coming weeks. Just maybe. But for now, Dave McMenamin, thanks so much for the insight.
Robert Horry, James Worthy. We got Mike Trudell down at the arena. The Lakers season comes to an end. OKC completes the sweep. They will be in the Western Conference Finals. A valiant effort by the Lakers in that second half. They had their chances, fellas, to win the game. They had a 4-point lead, James, going into that fourth quarter. OKC closes on a 28-18 run. Hit some big shots down the stretch. AR had a look at it on that last play. Yeah. They were talking about no Rui in the game on that play, and just missed. But go ahead, say your words. It's always tough when the season ends.
Yeah, it is, Keeter. And look, Oklahoma Oklahoma's a fine basketball team. They really are on both ends, and they're deep. I thought the Lakers played one of the best games of the season tonight. You know, with Oklahoma, every possession is so critical. Like, I thought the Lakers had momentum. LeBron, that little soft pass at the end, the long pass, I know we get that a lot, but you can't afford to, like, lose possession of the basketball in critical moments. Now, if it succeeds, then we're good. But I just thought that Mitchell, you know, the fact that Marcus Smart's done a pretty good job on Shea up until the night. You know, he got his tonight. But every time we had an opportunity, Mitchell with the layup, with the three, we give up an offensive rebound, long rebound. It resulted in a three. Not that many of them, not that many, you know, turnovers really, but turnovers in critical situations. And, you know, we played a masterful game. I just thought that Oklahoma just took advantage of turnovers, and they had Shea, and they had Mitchell, and they had Heinstein, who played really well. Holgram at the end at that Duncan's corner. They're a tough team to beat. I thought the Lakers did the best they could, but just came up a little short, Gator.
Yeah, when you look at complete basketball teams, and this is one of the most complete basketball teams you've probably seen in a long time. And when you look at teams, you say, okay, where is their weakness? Can you point out one with this team? You know, they have a really great bench. That's the first thing people normally look at. It says, well, who's the worst defender on that team? You can't really pick one. And that's why they're the #1 defensive team in the league. And that's what you want out of a team. You think about how they was able to blow by some of our players with ease. And the thing about OKC is, you know, I know a lot of people get mad at them foul hunting, but they're smart. You know, Shea Gilgeous is one of the masters. He'll see you right there. He'll just run straight into you. And he knows that in this league, this day and age, everything belongs to the offensive player. And that's what some of our players have to start doing and start avoiding it. But you really, really have to tip your hat to this OKC team. Yeah. You think about down the stretch, that even how well oiled that last play where Hartenstein says, okay, I'm going to give it to Chet because I'm not confident in my floater. And Chet knew it was coming. He took his time. He went up and dunked it. It went up. And so when you look at teams,
might have traveled, by the way.
Yeah, he might have traveled, but everybody travels in the NBA. Yeah. And so, and for me, that just shows you how smart and how well oiled they are. And, you know, I don't even think that, you know, sometimes you can walk away from a series and be disappointed where you thought you was going to win. You know, I don't think anybody in the world thought the Lakers were going to win. You know, that's no disrespect to the Lakers. That just shows you how good OKC is. Yeah. You know, we'd have had Luka, I thought we would have won. But without Luka, it's kind of hard to go up against a juggernaut like OKC.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Jared McCain, who's plus 27 in a 5-point game and had 3 big threes. Hartenstein, who we had mentioned, was a plus 30, and this is a really close game. But I do want to show you guys this last play. Okay. Austin Reeves, James, I'll start with you. He has a look here, just misses it. The Lakers are down 3 at this point. Tough shot.
I mean, you can't ask for a better look. And for a guy that you want to take the shot, I mean, I'm surprised that they allowed him to get that wide open. I'm surprised that they, you know, didn't protect the three-point line, but that kind of went in and out. This is the look that Austin Reeves kind of drifting to the left a little bit, you know,
just to the left and he missed it left.
Yeah, missed it left. Yeah,
and for me, I sorry to interrupt you, James.
No, I'm good.
To me, we got guys who want to be the hero so bad. You know, sometimes, you know, you look at the greats like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you know, they kick it to the others. You can get that. Everybody know you're going to take that shot. Take one more dribble. Get a better shot. I thought everybody said that was a good shot. You can't get a good shot right now. You got to get a great shot. And to me, that was an okay shot. You know, you 5 feet behind the three-point line, you're going left, drifting, and you haven't been shooting the ball very well. Like right here, LeBron, you got to move. You just standing there. You could in this possession, you could have turned the corner, got a quick 2 foul. There's so many other things, you know, and this is coming from a guy who's always want to take the 3 to win. But there's situational situations. You got, look, there's 11 seconds on that clock. You go to the hole, you score at 8 seconds, then you foul. They might miss one. Now you don't have to get a 3 to tie it up. You might get a 3 to win. So I think sometimes we go with the hero ball way too much. And for me, you have to be smart down there. But, you know, what do I know?